Welcome to our official tier list for Drake's new album, For All the Dogs. In this episode, we're going to be going through all 23 different songs and placing them in our tier list, starting off with bad, mid, good, great, amazing, and then perfect. And guys, we actually just dropped our new audio podcast where we actually went through every single Drake album and chose his best song. Lou has his list, I have mine. I think Lou didn't do a good job in certain areas.
I did a great job.
It was okay, though. But listen, guys, if you want to check out the entire episode, check the pinned comment. The episode's going to be right there for you. And actually follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more, because we're dropping audio podcasts on there every single Tuesday. But Lou, let's get into this track list.
Sir.
Virginia Beach, where's it going?
Virginia Beach, I was thinking about... Listen, I know that Drake is the album intro king, and we have to look at Tuscan Leather and Champagne Poetry, and this one's not super lyrical. I don't care about that. I feel like his performance was super dynamic. I like how he seamlessly shifts from one note to another. He's gliding on this track.
It's a good intro.
The production's amazing, too. I would go great on this.
It's a good intro. It's a good intro at best. It's a good, like, even at that, the writing is a bit weak on the track itself. I'm just not a fan of the way that his auto-tune rings off throughout the track.
You're going to find out that it's on site like www. You know what? Because of the bars, maybe I can go down to good.
It's a good intro.
We'll go good.
It's a good intro.
It's probably his weakest intro. I'll say that. Like,
all right.
Even Fireworks off of Thank Me Later, that's better. Even Over My Dead Body, like, it probably does stand as his worst. But next up, Amen featuring Tizo, Touchdown. And to be honest, it kind of sounded like hearing Drake on a Donda song. Like, it's the most gospel-inspired track we've ever heard.
And not only that, but I also do feel like Tizo probably had the best performance on this track, like we mentioned in the review. You guys can go check that out if you want. But yeah, I feel like also the production was really nice from Sango, Bugday Beats, Budgie Beats, and then Tizo Touchdown himself.
Drake kind of does hold it down a little bit. Like, I feel like he removed a bit of like the sentimentality that Tizo brought because of the subject matter he brought into it, to be honest with you. And his verse is sort of like short-lived. He doesn't have much of a presence on the song. But production-wise, Tizo's performance was great. Honestly, I'm feeling good with the song again.
Honestly, it was one of those where I could be like, oh, well, that's a great track.
Really? You could go all the way to great with it. You said you wouldn't even take it out of the listen, though.
Great track. Like, not for my rotation.
Okay, not for your rotation.
But everything considered, I can maybe see it going great for the track list.
Listen, bro, I think Virginia Beach is a much better song.
All right, we'll go good with
Let's go with it.
We'll go good with Amen.
Let's go good with
How about
Amen.
Calling For You with 21 Savage? I am not a fan of this song. Everything from the cheap production to a minute interlude of a girl complaining about jerk chicken and oxtail on vacation. So,
no first class seats.
And he's lying to me, you know?
Oh, man.
It was no way. I was listening to it over the weekend again, and it's really not for me.
I've never heard a song make less sense, like, from Drizzy's catalog. Like, it feels like he starts off building towards somewhere that it never gets to. The 21 Savage verse was so average and subpar compared to what we've heard from him. What is there really to gain out of this song? This is a bad song to me. It sounds like a leftover from Her Loss that shouldn't have made any album, to be honest.
Absolutely. All right.
Bad
Calling
song
For You is going
for
to
Calling
bad.
For You. Next up, we have Fear of Heights, and this song was going viral because of the apparent Rihanna disses and etc. I'm not a big fan of the first section of the track. The second section is a bit better. You get that fiery troublemaker Drizzy where he's throwing shots. He gives you the Pusha T Sublime. It's not my favorite performance all throughout. Production-wise, you have the hardcore rage trap hybrid from OZ.
No, it's not that great of a song.
I do like hearing Drake sound vicious, but it felt a little bit forced.
Especially with the way that the tempo of the track starts off. It just goes into a direction that I don't necessarily understand. And I'm just there wondering, like, well, the first part should have just extended into the entire
Do you like
track.
how he transitioned, though? How he's like, okay, let me stop. And he's like, fuck it, let me go.
No.
You didn't fuck with that aspect?
It's just not, like, I don't feel like it was executed properly, and it felt a bit forced.
It felt like he turned up, like, the knob the right way, though. Like, I do like somewhat
It was cool. I feel like when you have to tell me you're turning it up, then there's maybe a bit of a problem there. At least in my
and even
idea.
the singing on the first verse, it almost felt like he was more so just talking. Like, rhythmically, there wasn't much going on. I can go mid with that.
Yeah, mid for Fear of Heights. Okay, how about Daylight? I know that this was a song that you enjoyed. So
yeah, I love the Scarface sample at the beginning. It reminded me of like classic 90s, 2000s hip hop. I do wish that it would have preceded more of like an omerta, or more of like a mafioso lyrical type of Drake song, which you are getting, Drake in a street bag rapping about, offing people in daylight and stuff like that. And I don't know. You're getting some creative flows, which I do enjoy. You're getting a haunting sample, which I really fucked with as well.
The chorus is lacking on this one, though.
The chorus is lacking.
Shot him in daylight. Shot him in daylight.
The chorus is lacking on most of these tracks, though. Like, that's just what it is.
Shot him in daylight. It's too much for myself. I'm not a big fan of when Drake gets into that repetitive mode for his hooks. I do feel like the hook could have been better. And then even at that, you know, the whole thing of like she went to Jung and she bought a body. I wasn't there when they caught the body.
There's a couple of bars I like, though. Like, for example,
bought the body.
My dog got booked for acting like Book. Clever reference to Devin Booker, who's a point guard who plays for the Phoenix Suns. Daylight, sun. It was a cool reference. I know I'm picking at straws here, but I think it's a good song. I think it's a good song, ultimately.
I could easily go mid on this one.
Oh, come on, bro.
I could go mid. All right, fine. Listen, if you want to go good again, bro, we'll go good again.
Let's go good with that one.
Okay, first-person shooter. This is going directly into the amazing one, right? I think that's it. If Drake would have had stronger verses, I do feel like it would have went directly into the perfect for me.
Yeah, I mean,
if I'm being completely
J. Cole's
honest with
verse was on point. I think that it's the biggest banger on the entire album. I think that it's so interesting that out of all these tracks, this is the one that's probably going to be charting the highest, and it's going to be the biggest hit. Vinyls went crazy when it came to the sample choice. Coleman has the keys and strings. Wanda's programming is on point. Production hit hard. The verses was there, even though I feel like Drake was maybe holding back a little bit, I'll be honest. I feel like he could have given us a better verse, especially on the second half.
Even the first half, I'm reading it right now, and like a good portion of this verse is taken up by like the whole GOAT conversation, and that to me is just a bit filler.
But first and foremost, I want to appreciate this moment, bro, because you don't get legendary link-ups like this in hip-hop every day. It was the first time in a decade, and I'm just grateful, and I feel blessed that they made this happen, bro.
All right, so where are we going with this? Amazing?
We can go amazing with it, sure.
Yeah, let's go amazing with first-person shooter. Okay, how about I Don't Give a Fuck with Yeet? This was a big question mark, for me on the track list, because I was like, well, where's the collaboration going to go? You know, and how is it going to end up ringing off? So, how did you feel about it, man? Did you enjoy it?
I do like the progression of the instrumental, even though, again, the transition from the first beat to the second was a bit sudden, but it made for a pretty epic beat drop when you did get those 808s coming in. Yeet carried the song. I wasn't too big on Drake's performance, but yeah, I feel like it would have been a better song if it was on a Yeet album. And
I agree.
If Drake,
this should have been on Yeet's next album, and I do believe Drake is going to be on Yeet's next album regardless.
But do you feel like Drake was like necessary on the track at all?
Not for me. I feel like this could have been a solo Yeet song, but then again, it ended up making the album, so it is what it is.
I can go good with it at best. Because, again, the production you said you fucked with, Yeet's performance was good. It's not a mid song, bro. Come on.
All right, I guess I'll go good with it.
No, but what's your argument? If you're going to say it's a mid, let me know why.
It's just because it feels forced as a collaboration. That's what I feel like. The curation itself of having Drake on that song doesn't really do much for me. I'm never going to be revisiting it like that. And again, it feels like it deserves to be on a Yeet album.
Yeah, but one element, which is the Drake verse aside, it's a good song.
The chemistry between both of them, I didn't enjoy that either. I'm telling you, from a curation standpoint, I feel like it created it for a mid song.
If you want to go mid, we'll go mid. I prefer good. You want to go mid?
We'll go good with it, bro. You keep giving out these good ratings like it's
candy.
candy.
Listen, bro. If you want to go
79, 69 Santa.
Okay, so that's locked in as good. Let's go into 79, 69 Santa. Yeah, I feel like the production was missing like a punch. Even like the whole Chief Keef I Don't Like sample.
It was a bit useless.
Yeah, I feel like he could have done more with that.
And like the whole thing, once he gets to the chorus with the I just want to get you off my mind, and the way that he extends those vocals, I don't feel like it rang off well for me. I do feel like it's one of the weaker tracks.
It's boring,
off the album.
bro. It
Absolutely.
just puts you to sleep.
It's a bit of a snoozer, I'm going to be honest with you, so I'm going to go mid with this
I'm going to go mid with that one for sure. Next up, Slime You Out with SZA, the single, the first taste that we got truly of For All the Dogs.
I'm happy with
this. It's
still.
aging well with me. Like, I really fuck with how passionate the performance is at the beginning from Drake. I also, of course, love the second verse where you get the calendar year rap, and then you get some cool double entendres with the W's and M's and that whole thing. This was old Drake. This gave me that feeling back.
Yes, it did.
I still don't feel like it's an excellent track.
It's not an amazing track, but I would go great.
I'd go great with the song.
It's a great song, absolutely, and I also think it was a great choice considering what else is on this album to be the single of the album.
Absolutely,
to be honest with you,
absolutely.
But okay, let's keep going on with this. Let's go on to Bahamas Promises. A bit of a tongue twister there. And this is actually the song where Drake gets into a bit of storytelling with this woman named Haley, and how she fucked up his Bahamas trip and how she was unfaithful with him. But I'm not going to lie to you, it's a bit of a snooze fest. Again, it's not something that I'm going to go back to all that often, and one that I feel like is pretty mid
You know
when
what?
it comes to sonically.
I feel like this is another one that actually reminds me of O Drake because it has some of those like proper ingredients. It has this sad piano-driven sound. It has Drake sort of giving you this melancholic stream of consciousness. Like it actually reminds me of Doing It Wrong off of Take Care in certain ways. But like you said, the performance isn't that memorable.
It's a writing standout though for me on the album.
Absolutely.
It's just the problem is that when you get to the actual vocals on the track itself, it's not all that great.
And the way that, like, again, the high pitch that he attempted on this song and others across the album, he can't live within that pitch that he's attempting. It just doesn't sound natural. We're going to go mid with it?
Yeah.
We're going to go mid with Bahamas Promises. Next up, we have Tried Our Best, which is a fan favorite. I wasn't feeling it at first, to be honest with you. But, with repeat listens, the melody is pretty catchy. Writing-wise, I feel like it's repetitive, bro. The whole, like, treated you, like, there's a lot of repetitive aspects to
It kind of
the writing.
reminds me of a Child's Play to a certain extent. The way that he starts off the song, I swear, there's a list of places that I've been with you, and I want to go.
Child's Play is better.
It is. I never said it was better. Yeah, calmate. I was just saying.
Yeah,
how,
I know. I feel you.
Like it kind of sets up the scene a bit, like that first verse on Child's Play. I think it's a good song. I think it's
Quite
a
a
good
few corny lines too. Message read like a brake light, or I swear to God, you think I'm Shakespeare. That's why you always want to play, right?
Fishing for some answers in that ocean with a fucking great white.
Listen, yeah, would you say you wanted to go with good, great?
I go good with it.
Yeah, let's go good with Tried Our Best.
It's a good song.
A lot of people are loving it. They're saying it's their favorite. I think Fantano said it's like a top 10 Drake song. I mean,
shout out to Fantano.
Shout out to Fantano, man. But yeah, it was interesting to get that ballad. But next up, we have Screw the World Interlude. Not much to say about this. It's a classic chopped and screwed remix of If I Ruled the World by DJ
Did we just
Screw.
like throw it into the great category?
Let's throw into the great for the sake of the quality of the production there. And out of respect to DJ Screw, the legend. But next up, Drew A Picasso.
All right, so how do you feel about this song? Because this is something that I do feel like is on the stronger side of the track list. To be honest with you, I do feel like it has a bit more mature writing, especially for like the romantic complex that's kind of going down. The production's not anything too crazy, but for the most part, I think it's solid.
It's all right, bro. I just feel like Drake sounds tired, cadence-wise, for the majority of this track, and it is another long track that just meanders until you get to like the fourth verse. There's 4 verses on this track, and I feel like you only get a truly lively cadence at that fourth verse.
We go mid.
I think so, bro. For me, at least. Like the more I hear it, the more mid it sounds.
That's true. Okay, how about members only? Besides the P and D verse, I'm being honest with you, there's not much going on for me here, bro.
No.
Another song that just feels like a bit filler. I do wish, though, that the collaboration could have been a bit better, because you only get to the P and D verse like midway through the song, and then after that, Drake comes back with that third verse, and that's when the energy picks up. But it's already too late. You've ran through 50% of the song already, and even at that, the production doesn't do too much for me on that end. I spoke a bit about it in the review. So again, I'm going mid with members only, bro.
Unfortunately, despite me liking the production and loving Party Next Door's feature, there isn't too much value to the song as a whole. It's going to be another mid one. We're just stacking up the mid, guys.
The mid is good.
With this track list, unfortunately. I mean...
all right, how about What Would Pluto Do? This was a big one for people because people were saying, oh, well, this is going to be one of the better tracks off the album. I know you were anticipated for it. But Lou, I'm sorry, brother. There's no way I'm throwing this back on, bro.
I'm definitely throwing it back on. I mean... I've said it time and time again. Ever since I heard that snippet, I cannot get that whole okay flow out of my head. Wish he used it for the hook. Also love the production by Benny X and Lil Yachty. You have the synth horns coming in. You have Yachty's ad-libs there too. I will say that like it does sound like a song Drake's given us a bit, like given us before. It reminded me of like Jumbotron Ship Poppin' a bit too much.
Just don't say the great category. It's not a great track.
Good song for me.
Yeah, it's a good song. I would go good with What Would Pluto Do. Okay, how about All the Parties? Where are we going with this one?
It grew on me, to be honest with you. I found, Chief Keef's part was obviously short-lived, but it was exciting. It added a peak moment within that track. I think it's going to be a grower. You do have Drake sounding all right. You have decent bars like We Cop in Cars like Policeman. I thought that was clever for what it's worth. Cool instrumental, and you do have like that warped sound that reminds me of Nothing Was the Same, and I think that's just because of the sample that Coleman was reversing on the second half of the beat. I thought that sonically was impressive. I can go good with this. I don't know about you.
It's tight.
It's tight.
It's a cool song. I mean, even at that, the Chief Keef verse was so like short-lived. And he used to be a smarty. Used to want to study. She popping addies. Like, okay, bro. She all at the parties.
But Chief Keef is not Black Thought. It's the way he delivers the bars, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
obviously not. But I'm just saying it's.
I'd go good. What do you want to do? Mid? We'll do mid if you want.
I would go mid.
Let's go mid with all the parties. Next up, 8 a.m. in Charlotte. Amazing song from start to finish. This is what the fuck we wanted for.
This was triumphant. This set the tone for the album, and then after that, I got into the album, and I was kind of left disappointed because I'm like, well, if this is the time he's coming on, we're gonna be in for a treat, and you just didn't get that. But regardless, though, 3 verses of excellence, excellent wordplay towards the third verse. We spoke about it already. I think we could possibly go amazing with this.
Dropping metaphor after metaphor. And I also love the raspiness to his voice. It sounds like his vocal cords are strained, and that added this authentic rawness that I love and appreciate so much because it was a voice like I had never heard before from Drake. Double entendres, wordplay, everything you want. It's definitely an amazing song, almost verging on perfect. And I'll tell you this, bro, if I can get a full album of just time and location tracks, I'd fucking take it. Even if he's like singing on some of them, but just something that he's throwing in a lot of passion, because that's what you get out of this track is the passion. Love 8 a.m. in Charlotte. Definitely amazing. So many quotables. But next up, BBL Love Interlude. Another standout production-wise for me. I love the soulful harmonizing. I love... I think it's Tizo who did some of the backing vocals on here as well.
Brother, this first verse is really not written well.
It's not for you?
Bust that pussy open for a real one. She called me her baby, like I'm still one.
Mm-hmm.
They say love's like a BBL. You won't know if it's real until you feel one. Can I feel it? Can I feel it? Can I feel it? Can I feel one? Can I feel it? Can I feel it? Can I feel?
I feel like he's playing into like the silly like certified lover boy persona. Like it belongs alongside like a Way Too Sexy, which is still not a good track. But
sometimes I think to myself, what if I was somebody else? Would your ass still be there? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, nah, there's no way. It's definitely a mid Drake track.
It's mid.
It's mid. There's no escaping that.
And honestly, if the beat wasn't as good as it was, it'd probably go into bad.
Yeah, okay, how about Gently? I know you have a nitpick with this fucking song, bro. That's for sure. You don't really enjoy this.
Yeah, it's one of the worst songs I've heard all year, to be honest with you. I don't like the Spanglish from Drake. I feel like the accent was just super forced, more than it had ever been before when it came... Like, even if you look at, like, Mia with Bad Bunny, their first collab, that was catchy. Like, there was an anthemic feel behind that. They had chemistry. This one just feels like an attempt at getting a club hit. And even Bad Bunny's performance wasn't memorable. Their whole reggaeton beat didn't do much for me. It sounded generic.
It's
a bad song for me, man.
It's a bad song, but I guarantee you, watch, we're gonna go to a club one day and this is gonna be ringing off.
I don't think this is gonna be. I don't think it's gonna last long. I'm calling it now, guys. Gently will not be a hit. Maybe I'm gonna bite those words, but for now, I don't see
it's
it going anywhere.
It's a bad song, though. Gently's bad.
Yeah,
Gently's going into the bad category. Okay, let's keep going on with this. Rich Baby Daddy is going into the bad once again for me. It's a bad song.
It kind of feels like a song that was made for TikTok. Again, you have the Miami bass type beat, which in my feelings also had Taking It Back to Scorpion. Sexy Red, so unnecessary. Bad mixing on the vocals there. SZA didn't really belong.
Bad curation choice. It's probably one of the worst curated songs on this entire album.
I think it's bad, bro.
Yeah, that's a bad one. That's for sure. Okay, how about Another Late Night? Where is this going? Honestly, man, like I feel like people are really enjoying this because of the Cole Bennett video, and they love the
video, bro.
Yeah, but by the way, the video is fucking fantastic. But people just love the idea of Yachty and Drake being this new duo. But there's no way. Like it's the song itself still, it's really not all that great. It's very mediocre for me.
It was made for the youth. I feel like that was sort of like the approach with it, but. You know, I don't need to hear Drake doing the gra gra ad-libs to start off a song. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like quality music, bro. Through and through. Production wasn't really captivating at all. What do you want to do? You want to do mid?
It's definitely mid.
Yeah, we're gonna do
There's
mid
a-
with Another Late Night.
Okay, but how about Away From Home? One of the best written songs on the album for me. I feel like this is a great track. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't think it's spectacular, to be honest with you. You have a pretty standard trap beat. You have Drake reminiscing over his come up, which again, from a writing standpoint, I really appreciate it. But I don't know. There's nothing new here in terms of like Drake's canon. You know what I mean? There's nothing really that makes me say, wow, I never heard this before. From a production standpoint, from a performance standpoint.
I gave you a couple of okays.
We'll go
Good.
great with it.
Yeah.
If Anth wants the great, we'll go great.
I'm gonna force you to give me the
Let's
great
go
this
on
one.
to the outro, Polar Opposites. The beat goes pretty hard, I guess, but Drake's performance is lackluster on it. What do you think about it?
The writing again. It just Mariana, you broke my faith.
You
Why you gotta
tried to
listen to-
grease me, but we're not in Mykonos.
We just broke ice, and now we're both leaving. I was being kind. I don't understand you. You should let your sister be the voice of reason.
I hate to end off on a sour note, but I think it's bad. It was one of the worst R&B cuts on here.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst outro to a Drake album.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no doubt. So, Polar Opposites is going into the bad category. Guys,
That's the tier list.
that is the tier list. It's not the most positive tier list we've ever put through, but whatever. It is what it is. That's where the music stands, and that's where it's going to end. So let us know in the comment section, guys, where did we get it right? Where did we get it wrong? And where would you put these songs in this tier list? Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. We appreciate you guys, and we appreciate the support over the For All the Dogs era and everything that we've covered. Shout out to Drake for giving us another album. His fucking... What is it like? I think it's like 6 now in the past couple of years.
You gotta
you know?
appreciate the work ethic.
gotta
Even
appreciate the
even
work
if the
ethic.
music doesn't always turn out the way that we had hoped it would, still grateful to be getting new music in this era. And yeah, guys, as we mentioned earlier, if you do want to catch our audio episode where we went through every single solo Drake album and picked out the best song, that's available for you on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Link is in the pinned comment. We're dropping episodes every Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this, and we'll see you next time. Peace.